Alright everybody, welcome to the Game Vault. I am Captain Beefy as always, and this is my tips and tricks for getting started in Horizon Forbidden West. I'm going to go over a few things that I learned as I played through this game and almost 100% Platinum trophied it. I still got a couple little oddball things I have to do, but I'll get around to them at one of these points in times, probably on my second playthrough. But for now, let's take a look at some of the things I wish I knew when I started, and I figured out maybe a little too late in the game. So without further ado, here's the first tip. Now first off is setting up jobs for yourself. Jobs are created at a workbench, and they're used to assist you in upgrading certain things in your inventory, whether it be your weapon, your armor, or your pouch. And your pouch has several different aspects to it that hold different things. So in this instance, we're going to go to our pouch upgrades, and we're going to upgrade, I think it's our rope. Our rope pouch. So we hit triangle to create a job for this. As you can see on the right hand side in red, the three things that are required for it. We hit X and it makes it our active quest. And then we open up our map, and it will show us on the map where the items are that we need to get. So as you see, there's the moonfish skin, down here is the bass bone, and over to the west of that a little bit is the iridescent crab shell. So all three of those items are over there in the San Francisco area of the map, and that's where we need to go to locate these things. Now it's not going to put a indicator exactly on where they are there, it just kind of gives you a general region on where to do that. And this can be done with all kinds of different items, whether it be, like I said, your pouch, a set of armor that you want to upgrade, or a weapon. It will tell you if it's animal parts, it will tell you if it's green shine fragments or slivers or whatever, or if it is machine parts that are required. So have some fun with that. Now, not only does it work at a workbench, but it also works over here at our fabrication terminal. This is where we get the parts needed so that we can override all the creatures in the game. Not all of them automatically override. Here we have a fire claw. We need a couple sack webbings. We set that as our active job. Go back to the map just like we did with the workbench. And all the way down there, there's some fire claws. Easy peasy. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, my next recommendation is when it comes to gathering, you cannot have enough items in your inventory. Trust me on that. I don't care what it is, if you can pick it up, you get it. The last game, Horizon Zero Dawn, did not automatically send stuff to your stash box when you picked it up if you were overloaded on your personal inventory. And as you can see on the left hand side of the screen here, as I'm picking these things up, it's automatically going to my stash, and I've got dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of items in there. I will never run out of Ridgewood. I will never run out of medicinal berries, because early on I gathered every bit I could find, and it's just a habit in the game, and it's something I continue to do to this day, even though I really don't need to at this time. But I didn't want to be out there in the middle of a fight in need of arrows and I'm unable to make them. So yeah, you can see, we'll take a look at our resources here. We've got quite a few different resources available. That's our total inventory here. But let's go take a look at our actual stash box. Alright, well, let's take a look inside the stash box. This is where all that excess of material goes to that you gather up. All the stuff you're picking up out there. It's great. If you look down at the very bottom right hand corner there, you see where it's highlighted with the square button to restock resources by holding that down. That's fantastic. It pulls it out of your box and puts it on you personally. That way, if you need to craft something when you're out there in the field, you can do it without worrying about not having the materials on you that you need. I know it's counterintuitive. Most games, you throw everything in your stash box to lighten your load. You do not have a weight limit in this game, so that is fantastic. On to the next tip. Now, one issue you'll run into early in the game is the issue of finding a lot of metal shards. Metal shards are used as currency, they're used for crafting material, they're used for upgrades, anything from making basic arrows to upgrading armor and weapons. Shards are used. A great source of shards is the chargers, and there are several places, including a hunting ground in the Daunt, the very first area you start in, where you can go farm these creatures. Now, you'll get shards. They're fairly easy to kill, even at a low level. But what's great about them is they have these two nice big horns that are easy to target and tear off. So by doing that, you can sell those. I mean, they do come in use, for crafting here and there, but you're not going to need a lot of them. And as you can see right here, we've got 4 chargers. That's a potential of 8 of those horns that we can just line up, aim, and fire. Let's take one off, or not. Of course, it helps if you actually hit the horn. So if you have a bow, and by now you should have, even early on in the game, you should have a bow, you focus on the weapon that does the most tear damage. What tear damage does is it removes components from a creature. If you just kill these guys outright, those horns are going to disappear. You're not going to be able to take them off. As you can see, we removed one from that guy. This guy's a little curious here. We're going to bing. We knocked one off of him. He's like, hey, what happened? Oh, I came from over there? And we knocked off the other one. Now we got them all riled up. So normally, if you take your time and you're careful with these guys, it's not that big of a deal. You can easily pick them apart, especially if you could do a little extra tear damage. So you go in, you gather up everything off of them. See, there's a horn there, and I think there's another one around here somewhere. And then you go pick up the horns and clean up the bodies, take anything that's off of there. You see, you get little coils and other items, and go back to town and sell those items, sell those horns for a decent amount of shards. Let's go take a look and see what they're worth. Alright, so here we are back at Chain Scrape. We're at the guy that sells weapons, and we'll go into our sell menu and roll down till we find the charger horns. And they are a common item. As you can see, they're worth 40 a piece, 40 shards a pop. So 4 of them, that's not bad. That's 320 shards right there. Boom. Just like that, for only a couple minutes worth of work. It doesn't really put you in any real danger. You only need to use a few shards to make the arrows that you use to knock off those horns, and then you're done. Highly recommend doing that as early and as often as possible when you need shards. It's a nice, quick, easy way. Now, as you progress in the game and you get better and stronger, those guys won't be that big of a deal. Now, my next tip is about quests and doing side quests. There are tons of them. As you can see, all these quests that we've done. Tons and tons of side quests. Tons of errands are in there. I still have a couple outstanding. Then you got jobs. These are the ones that I set up myself to find parts. And then you have salvage contracts, which is this whole other thing. Hunting grounds, melee pit, the arena, rebel camps, yada, yada, yada. You've got tons of these things over here. Complete them all in an area that you can, especially when you start off in the Daunt. You've got several side quests that pop up. I highly recommend doing them as you move along. Very often they will reward you with skill points, and it tells you over there on the right hand side what you get, like 6,500 XP plus a skill point for Shining Example. You can't beat that. If you do that consistently, you will level up fairly quickly as you move along in the story. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the settings menu. This game is highly customizable for how you want to play. It has your basic difficulties from story mode to very hard. Then it's got a custom mode, which allows you to tweak different aspects, such as easy loot. When you have easy loot turned on and you kill a creature, even if you didn't tear off like the charger horns we talked about, you'll still get them. It's a great way if you're having trouble finding a part, or if you just want to do some farming and you don't have the time to sit there and pick all those pieces apart. It's a great way to gather stuff up fairly quickly. You have auto concentration, auto heal, quite a variety of things. You have quest pathfinding and waypoint pathfinding, Both of those I leave at Explore because I think even with that, it's not hard to find out where you need to go. I can only imagine how much guided would hold your hands. Might be good for a kid or somebody that's new to this type of game, but I've done so much of this that, yeah, I don't need it. You can control your weapon wheel slowdown, so when you are selecting weapons, it can go from none to very slow, or I think it's slowest, whatever, which will make it so as you're selecting a weapon, you have more time before you are getting your guts stomped out to choose what weapon you want to use in the battle. Pickup animations is a new one. I highly recommend turning it off because as you're running around picking up stuff, as we saw earlier, it takes a second, and you got to keep da-da-da-da. Now with that off, you just run over and there's no animation. You just keep spamming the button to pick stuff up. So some great ones there. Copilot's a neat one there. That's good for somebody that maybe has a disability, or you got your little brother you want to show him how to play, or your son or daughter. You can help them out by sharing Aloy on 2 different controllers. So look through these settings, look through them very hard. I mean, it has stuff like when you want to do climbing, where it will always have the yellow lines on the walls or the mountainsides and so forth. If your mounts follow the road, if you automatically run, if your mount automatically runs or sprints, it has whether or not you can swap weapons very fast, which is a hugely important thing. So take your time, look through here. If you're having trouble in a certain way, if you're getting your butt kicked all the time and you're taking too much damage, well, maybe you're going to lower the damage you take a little bit. If you're having a hard time taking creatures down, maybe you lower the resistance a little bit and give yourself a little more power to attack them. That's up to you. You play the game however you want to play it. That's why these settings are there. But there are some that are very important quality of life settings. And last but not least here, don't rush out of the Daunt. I know games, open world games always have that area beyond the area you're in. And as a gamer, we all want to get to that next area, whether it's into the West in Horizon Forbidden West, or into the Central Loop in Dying Light 2, to England in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We always push forward, and I'm just as guilty as the next guy. But there's a lot of things to do here. There's hunting grounds you can explore. There is Chainscrape has an arena. There's all kinds of little things that you can do in here. I don't remember, maybe the arena's not unlocked quite yet. But plenty of places to open up, plenty of places to explore. A couple of them are inaccessible to you now until you get the right equipment later on, like the breathing pack. And you also have a couple different things. Now, I'll show you the difference here between a campfire, which is a fast travel point, and basically it's just a campfire. And then you have a shelter, which has a little different look to it on the map. And you'll see up here, let's pull the map up again. Up here to the north of us, there's a shelter. We'll fast travel there. A shelter's kind of like a campfire on steroids because it has a couple other features to it. First and foremost, it has a stash box for you, which is great. And here's Aloy just running around she's like, wait, what? So you got a stash box, so you can go ahead and manipulate your stash, put stuff away, take stuff out, whatever you need to do there. It also has a crafting bench, a work table over here, so you can make arrows or upgrade weapons and armor, so forth and so on. And it also has another great feature that I think it's unique to only shelters, and that is this little bench that you can sit on and pass the time. Why do you want to pass the time? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, you may not like traveling at night. Maybe it's hard for you to see. Apex predators, which are more dangerous versions of the regular machines, come out at night. So you may end up, if you're not ready to face some apex creatures, you may want to only go to these areas during the daytime. Or if you're actually looking for something that requires an apex creature, then maybe you're going to want to find him at nighttime, so you'll fast forward to the night. So it's up to you. But don't rush yourself out of the Daunt. Look around. Get as much done as you can here. Do as many side quests as you can. Explore, explore, explore. But most importantly, have a good time. And that's basically it for my tips and tricks for Horizon Forbidden West. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. If you like what you saw here today, please comment on the video below. Let me know what you thought of it and hit a like on it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more great content like this coming up. And hit that bell for notifications so you never miss the opportunity to see what's going on in the world of gaming. If you share us on social media, that is appreciated as well. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.